the wall. Oh, I caught it too soon, but he carries on. I'm saying that one here, I'm all over, and we've got a massive fire at the back of that. Off we go. Down into the big sweeping right-hander, and here comes that angle we saw before, but here comes Cole Armstrong. Look at these two drivers, they are locked at the hip. Cole can't get any closer without hitting him. Wellington, you are certainly getting a show tonight.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. We are live on Facebook and to the world. It is the 2019 D1NZ Drifting Championship Series, and it is a very special edition of Drift Chat thanks to Oversteer TV, and we're covering all things D1NZ. It's the championship title fight for both classes, the Turbo Smart Pro Sport Restricted class and that Galore Parts Group Pro Championship, those 800 horsepower monsters. Joining me from D1NZ is Brendan White as we head into the chase. It's called the Chase, Round 3 Hampton Downs. Brendan, it's all about that title fight.
That's right, guys. The reason it's dubbed the Chase is simply the guys sitting at the lower end of that pack, they've got to get up the top. You're coming into a 200k corner. There's 2 rounds back to back, Hampton Downs and Pukekohe. The Chase is the one where the guys at the lower end have got to get up the top, like Adam Davies, Darren Kelly, Ben Jenkins, Fangadan. They're the ones with the marks on their back. And this is a special little thing on the couch tonight. We're going to have some royalty after the last 2 rounds. So little Ben Jenkins, he doesn't like being called that, but he's a pilot of the Toyotaz Galore GT86. Last round, that dude was on fire. So we're bringing him on the couch. We're going to talk business. We're also bringing in the guy that's got the mark on his back, that big bullseye. It's the Nissan R35 of Darren Kelly. But before we do that, we want you guys to like, share, get this out there. We're live on Facebook. Thanks to Kenny and the team here. We really want you guys to share this. So tag in the buddies because we've got some competitions coming up later in the show that we need you guys on this. So before we do that, let's check out round 1, round 2 of the Turbo Smart Pro Sport Series where people are literally on fire as well.
And off we go, a drag race down the straight here at Bay Park, round 1 of the 2019 Pro Sport Drift Series. #1 qualified Pro Sport, Michael Thorley.
Yeah, pretty stoked with that. That NZ Laurel went pretty good yesterday. Ran the wall like the judges asked. Yeah, really loving that wall.
You ran the wall like the judges asked. You've just been into practice, run it again.
Yeah, we're still hitting the wall left and right, just what they wanted. So yeah, looking forward to the battles. Just still got to work on that chase position.
On track, and here we go. So Michael Thorley straight up to the wall. Shallow lines for Charlie Bond-Walsh. The judges want proximity, and they're certainly getting that right now from Kurt Blackie. Blackie running shallow so he can dive down on. And talk about dive, let's talk about dual contact. We've got Russell Veer, newcomer rookie to the D. Oh, a big mistake, advantage, the A31 Safira. Alex Griffin, stocky, barrowing the world, is certainly grazing the concrete.
First time battling for Jordan Joyce, so the nerves don't seem to be there as he's up on those Casper Transmissions wall. Pretty cool to see, but right there is David Hunter.
Right-hander, very shallow line to start, but makes his way up to the wall and over-rotates his line to gain proximity. Comes back down into the final turn, right on the B pillar, but again, very, very low. I'm going to call advantage to Taylor James following both of these drivers. Oh, we've got contact. One goes around, one goes off.
Through the Mimico centre section, slow from Jordan Joyce there, but Kurt Blackie right there clips in nice, out on the wall. Kurt Blackie closes the door.
It's certainly his final time as Michael Thorley drives away from the line. He's got Taylor James tucking in underneath him as they go into the sweeper for the first time. Thorley up by the wall. Was that contact? Maybe not. They both keep their foot in it as they come through onto the centre section.
Taylor James all over Mike Thorley right now. It's the big C33. Oh, but a mistake there from Taylor James who bails out.
And that is going to be all she wrote for Taylor James in the first half of the battle.
Richard scores Thorley, Mackie scores Thorley, Brennan Duncan scores Thorley, Michael Thorley gets the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen, and is your round 1 Turbo Smart D1NZ Pro Sport winner.
The track is also in the concrete jungle. You graze it, but you get to come away with the spoils.
I grazed it, not like old Gargan here. So yeah, no, wicked. I need a panel beater. You know anyone?
Yeah, Zach Green is the only one I know, but you got to move down to Tauranga. But this is where the drifting happens.
Mate, this is it. It's a bloody good weekend. No rain. They said it was meant to rain, so you put the weather on, Steve. Thank you.
No problem at all. Look, congratulations. It's round 2, the Thunderdome, presented by NZ Vapor to Max Motors Family Speedway here in Wellington.
79.5, ladies and gentlemen. Pro Fawley chucks it in right on the wall there.
Wild angle, big smoke. I think he's even grazed the concrete as he comes through. Exactly what the judges want to see. All right, first place, Michael Thurley, 79.5. Duel with Adam Whitehead.
Hopefully I can keep these results going, but yeah, there's a bit of pressure on.
As Sean Poitras tries to close up the gap, narrowing up his line, and right on the door, they're side by side of him. Oh, but a huge mistake from Campbell. Again, a shallow line coming through into the transition point.
Big crash there from
Charlie Bond Walsh.
It just seemed that he just.
It's almost like something
I
broke.
don't know. We have to watch that one again. It's almost just like he lost the traction in the front of the tyres. Whether David Hunter's got the power, he's got smoke off the tyres.
I mean, those walls are, they're earth-filled behind. They don't move. It doesn't matter what you run into. The wheel there being torn right out of the car. So it's a big impact.
And look at the little S13, Russell Bear really tucking him in. And look how close he's getting, knocking on the door.
Right, something's definitely not right with David Hunter's car, but he's going for it anyway. Adam Whitehead initiates it, but David Hunter, that is it. That'll be it.
Oh, look at that. And keeps his foot in it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Showing why he was yesterday's top qualifier.
The TV says Adam Whitehead. Mackie says one more time. Brendan Dunker says one more time. It goes inactive. So the judges call inactive chase.
Here is the top 4. Look at it. Oh my gosh. How high up the track can you get for the NZR dog of Michael Thorley? As the black line A31 Superior powers back out. Nice angle, great speed, touches the wall really nicely. Not as high up as the judges want to see, but qualifying was yesterday. This is battle time as we come through that Turbo Smart clip. Nice transition through, railing very high, and an over rotation.
Mike Fawley knows by the looks of it.
This time, and a slow start, but they both set themselves up, and off we go. Sean Poitras will be given the advantage of being right on that back bumper, and what? And a big fire. Let's hold on to it. Keep it going. Put your hands together. We're certainly going to need to, we're going to chase him down, but then...
So on this front, he is allowed to push, but once he meets Sean on the line, so he's allowed to have a push start.
Going. All right, here we go.
Massive lead there from... Look, you've got to give it to Kurt Blackie. Blackie says Sean, T-Boom says Sean, Duncan says Sean. Sean gets the win, ladies and gentlemen.
And chucks in a Super 6, gets the flames going.
Oh, he's going to get on the roof and give him a man hug. Oh, how romance, look at that.
Oh, beautiful thing.
Look, you came through, you had to battle your way across, fires and everything. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, real happy, especially after yesterday with battling gearbox issue. Just, yeah, feeling real good about it.
So you've done a lot of drifting over the years. It's time to come up and join the Pro Sport Championship. Did you think that the second round of the season, you'd be standing on the top spot?
Yeah, no, definitely didn't think that would be happening, but over the moon with that.
Huge support. Like, look at them over here. Look at all these choice people. There's Guy Maxwell. There's the entire choice events and promotional team there looking and checking out your win. So much support out there for you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Taranaki all day.
Naki hardcore?
Yep, for sure.
For sure, Naki hardcore. Look, congratulations, mate. This man here, he is feeling choice.
All right, guys, that was highlights from rounds 1 and 2 of the Turbo Smart Pro Sport restricted class. The series limited to 235 wide tyres. For our international viewers, you're not sure about what that class is all about. It's a restricted platform for our drivers in D1NZ. It's a totally different championship, and they run basically a restricted tyre, no semi-slicks, no nitrous oxide, things like that. Brendan, we've got a very special guest who's actually won the series before, the restricted class before, and Darren Kelly joining us on the couch.
Welcome, Darren.
Welcome, thanks.
How does it feel to first off win a Pro Sport Championship?
Yeah, it's that was my first taste for competition. There wasn't a lot of series around at the time when I was coming through. So starting out, done a few track days and thought, we'd see if we could be competitive in a series. And D1NZ had something good to offer, and we came into it and done a half a season and figured out where we sort of sat in the level of competitors, and went away in the off season, developed the car, tried to come back with a competitive package, and managed to take out that championship. So
now, from a newcomer from the sport, if you're tuning in, there's a lot of guys doing grassroots, there's a lot of guys doing drifting all around Australia and New Zealand, and there must be a lot of nerves. We've seen guys come in, the choice events team, you know, Charlie and Sean, and literally on fire again, and they've just dominated. Like, how much of it would you suggest go grassroots and then step up to competition, like the nerves that is involved with stepping into pro spec competition or pro sport competition?
Yeah, there's definitely nerves involved. Like, obviously the competition is extremely tight. There's guys who are extremely good drivers now, like it's stepping up massively, and the level of competition is tight. You never know in both categories. It's anybody who qualifies is in to win, and yeah, every single battle, even for us in the Pro Championship, top 24. If you don't make the cut into the top 16 via qualifying, your top 24 battle, you're on edge. You know, like, this person could take me out. It could really affect my championship. So you're always thinking. You try not to let it affect you, obviously, because you've got to go out there with a clear head and try to drive 110%. So.
Well, it's an interesting note on that, because this year we're running a top 16 format for the restricted class, so there isn't a bye run as such for qualifying first. So Michael Thorley, of course, round one just blew everyone away. Qualified first and then took home the round win. It's actually not a hard. It's actually a hard thing to do, is qualify first, even in any game of motorsport, but then go on and convert that to a round win. I mean, that's pretty cool for Michael to go through and do that.
Yeah, definitely. Like they say, like, qualifying is only one factor of the whole event, and it all comes down to battles. Like, we've had times where we've qualified and, you know, managed to just scrape into top 16 for qualifying, and we've had round one, for example. Like, I think I qualified 13th and managed to win the round. So it's not, you can't think too much about where you position in qualifying and let that affect your mind going into the game the next day, because anything can happen. It all comes down to battles. But yes, to back it up with a solid qualifying run and then back it up with winning the event is a challenge. Like, it's like I said, like, it doesn't matter where you place in that in qualifying. It's all down to battles, and yeah, to back that up is hard.
Now we know you've got some stuff to say about qualifying too, and the points on offer versus battles and the judging criteria, which we're going to get into, and we're going to have I guess an off-the-cuff discussion with Darren Kelly coming up very shortly around judges, qualifying, battles, and how it all went and how it's unfolded in between rounds 1 and rounds 2. But first off, let's check out some highlights from the Galore Parts Group Round 1 Championship at Bay Park.
The D1NZ National Drifting Championship, it is the 2019 season opener here, Trust Power Stadium, Mount Maunganui. Just brutal on the loud pedal. Carl Thompson, the man who finished on the top spot qualifying yesterday. Carl Thompson, 86 points.
Yeah, no, it was pretty rewarding at the end of the day. I sort of struggled to get up on the wall all day, so that last qualifying run, I was just like, stuff this, you know, sort of manned up a bit and just hit it, and sort of paid off, so I was pretty happy.
And we release them, we are into the top 16.
Oh, beautiful synchronization of switching there. Matty Hill is right on the door. 2 S15s. Falcon tyres blazing up.
Carl Thompson, he's right on the wall, but look at Matty Hill coming in for the door knock. A great chase shallowing up for Jace Brown, and that has really put off Andrew Redwood. Redwood puts a right rear tyre off as well, comes through and hits it with the left as well.
And what a chase here from Darren Kelly. Underpowered cars here. You can see a lot of left foot braking here from Darren Kelly. You'll see it on the bank right now. Left foot brake, left foot brake.
Out past NZ Vapor into the Casper transmission. Wall come up and smack the rim. So that.
Matty Hill chucks it in right there with Jace Brown. Door-to-door action here at Trust Power Bay Park. Matty Hill. Huge mistake.
Matty Hill tries to get back out onto the bumper. Forced a mistake from the man in front, but Jace Brown isn't having it. Riding the wall. Oh, I called it too soon, but he carries on. Powers out of it. Oh, he's done some damage in the back end of that car. So is Matty Hill.
Peopleman out on front. Switches in. Geordie Cole right there.
Right, Dave Stebbin, Adam Davies tucking in underneath.
Here comes the screaming. RB, Adam Davies loops it. Davies chucking it away. RB versus V8 right now. Beautiful synchronization of drifting here. Darren Kelly right there. Faking a slight flick on a slight jump.
South from Darren Kelly as the lights come on here. Oh, banger. Dan Woolhouse sends it around.
He's right there. Switches on through. Doesn't drop a little slight wheel there from Darren Kelly, but he's still right there with the formers. You have to think.
1, 2 wheels off.
Matty Hill chucks it away. That is right now. Huge advantage for Darren Kelly. He's got to capitalize on Terror. He's got to push it home. This win. Matty Hill drives it home and Darren Kelly in the town. Matty Hill though, look at the chase here right there from Australian. He's right on the door of the Pukekohe Esport and switches through, strobe lights flying. Look at Matty Hill, ladies and gentlemen, switches, takes his rear bumper, bumper to bumper, door to door.
Dave Stedman tries to drive away from it. A final lunge from Matty Hill on the door. Knock, knock, who's there? Matty Hill.
This is BMW. Here we go, Tatum on the lead. Darren Kelly chase the switch in. Tatum bumpers on the brake on initiation, but Darren Kelly is being the doctor tonight. He takes that title.
Darren Kelly fires it through TTI, up through NZ Baker. He's got one more wall ride. He's created a gap between himself and David Templeman. Darren Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, fires it down the front straight.
Slide left, Dayton Templeman. Slide right, Darren Kelly. Darren Kelly 1, Darren Kelly 2. And the winner of round 1 of the 2019 D1NZ National Drifting Championship here, Bay Park, none other than Darren Kelly.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're live on Facebook. It is the 2019 D1NZ Drifting Championship Series. If you've just joined us, it is a very special edition of Drift Chat, thanks to Oversteer TV. And we're with Darren Kelly. We've also got Ben Jenkins coming up on the show a little bit later on, as well as some prizes that people can win. And, well, we just saw round 1. Here is the winner of round 1. And, Darren, pretty awesome moment to hold the checkered flag there for the opening round of the season.
Yeah, it was an awesome way to start the season. Obviously, the best way that we could possibly start the season coming in. Wasn't without some drama though, like we had some problems in qualifying which really hurt us. Had an issue with the brake lights flickering on during a qualifying run, and that was due to a faulty brake light sender switch which worked against us ultimately, because it wasn't that I was on the brake, but it was obviously showing that the brake lights were coming on, which is a deduction in points due to the criteria, which is left foot braking basically. So if, visually the judges have to call as they see it, and their criteria is, even though if we don't all agree with it, that left foot braking is a heavy deduction on points. So what they saw was brake lights flickering on and off throughout my qualifying run, and yeah, that obviously hurt my score massively. But yeah, to come back from that and then win the event, that was an awesome way to finish the weekend and come into the season.
So we track back left foot braking. You're not allowed to do in qualifying. Say if you're chasing in a battle, you're allowed to left foot brake because you can slow yourself up. Now I guess from a, let's play devil's advocate here. Why do judges ask for no left foot braking? I know the style judges, like, I just want to hear a lot of loud pedal in qualifying, but a lot of cars are too fast for that on the bank. So is that something that you think maybe left foot braking should be allowed? Because you were really penalised for it. Yeah, and there wasn't actually a lot of it in the car. So when you watch onboard footage or what we had, we have a lot of cameras around the car generally, doing a lot of filming. So we can sort of see a lot of what I'm doing as a driver and the inputs, and it's a very light touch of the brake, and most of the time just to settle the car and stop it picking up too much speed. You're not dropping any speed, you're sort of allowing the car to stay stable and stay on the line that you're trying to achieve. And without doing that, it's very difficult to maintain a nice smooth arch, especially on the bank tracks with concrete walls, and they want you to be basically within 100 mil of the wall. So to be able to do that and control the car and not push them to the point where the car is going to make contact with the wall, or the opposite, go down off the bank too much and become on a shallow line, you do minor adjustments with the brake pedal. And the area that I don't agree with, what I do agree with, is obviously you don't want to be the lead car and be slowing the car up to the point where the chase car has to take action and sort of it can affect their chase. So there shouldn't be any at any point where the lead car causes any sort of adjustment for the chase car, which is I totally agree with. But what I don't agree with is the when you are the chase car and you're just trying to keep the car stable, you've got a nice line, you're keeping it nice and smooth, giving the chase car something nice and smooth to chase, and allowing them to essentially give a very good chase.
and you're making no drop in speed, and you're just keeping the car settled. That's where the grey area is. And obviously the judges are, they've got to cover themselves with, had the brake lights been on the car and there was somebody was right on them and there was contact, it's like, who's at fault? There's a very fine line in the grey area there.
If we look back to qualifying for you for round one, you had a bit of an issue with obviously the brake light coming on, or the pressure sensor switch. So, you know, the judges marked you heavily down, but it doesn't matter because you won the round, which was epic. And it's something that we've seen, you know, Formula Drift actually run you can left foot brake, and it's something that a lot of people evoke on. So it might be something that we see in New Zealand drifting adopted. You know, the cool thing about, I guess, New Zealand drifting is we talk with the drivers, we talk with the judges, and we adapt, you know, and you evolve. And that's something that drifting constantly is doing. Battles, I do know obviously that you can left foot brake in a battle to obviously keep that proximity. Just quickly, if you're live, you're tuning in, we are live on Facebook, the D1NZ Facebook page. This is a special drift chat. Tagging the people that you think should be watching this, because there's some epic prizes and some big announcements to come after this man's done, and we're going to get little Ben Jenkins out there as well. So we're talking right now about Darren Kelly, and he's the championship winner. We've got round one done. You know, you're qualifying. It wasn't where you wanted to see it. You bet Jaron Olive Corona. Hello to Jaron Olive Corona out there who would be tuned in. And then you went up against the David and Goliath battle. That was the 86.
Yeah, Joel Patterson and, you know, the 86 up against the GTR. I don't think we've ever seen that.
Never in New Zealand drifting.
Not New Zealand drifting, perhaps not even in the world. I think that was quite actually a really unique battle. And Joel's car is not exactly a slouch or anything. That car's actually pretty competitive.
And the kid can pedal.
Yeah, and the guy can drive. So that's the thing. So it actually translated to an awesome battle. Unfortunately, he made a mistake on his chase run and through that midsection switch, and it just didn't come together for him. But, I mean, that was a cool thing to see in terms of what we're all here for. I mean, and what we've seen through drifting over the years.
Oh, you got the purists, and then you've got the people that want a high horsepower, the most modified drift car. It's like the grassroots guys versus the guys that are just constantly evolving. What was that like as a driver?
Yeah, massive credit to Joel. That's like when you watch those two cars on track, it's like, it felt like a bit of a bully. Like you see my car's like massive in comparison to the little A86, and I think that's another thing that sort of gets a little bit disguised in certain ways, the size of my car as well. And when you see it up against Joel's car, obviously quite a small car, you can really see the size difference. But yeah, it was a tough battle. It's you know, he put on an amazing lead run, and but he's running on 195 radial tyres, and and
so
like
not even a
competitive
semi-slip compound.
No, and still being competitive, and like it was quick. It was like, it surprised me. I thought it was going to be a lot slower than that. I did have to left foot brake quite a bit as the chase car behind him, just to maintain the same line. He put on like an awesome line, stayed out nice and wide, and was super clean. So he done an awesome lead run, allowed me to do a good chase run, made a little bit of contact through the middle section. As we sort of came around under the diggers, I gave him a little tap. I was like,
don't touch the 86.
Don't damage it, because it is a pristine car.
Yeah, it's R35 as well, wasn't you?
Yeah, but you know, it's. I think it's probably harder to get A86 bodies these days.
So the next battle up was Mr. Fangadan, wasn't it? And Battle of the Manufacturers.
Yeah, I've got to interject here. You know, like that's trending at the moment. It's still trending. If you're tuning in after we switch off live, check this out. I think you're topping up to nearly 1 million reached, and the views are astronomical because it's big Mustang versus big R35. So it's got to be a highlight of a career as well. You've pretty much got the bee's knees of battles. You've had the original Toge, and you've had the RTR three-wheeling beast.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I was saying about Joel's car being the smallest car. We've probably gone to the opposite end of the scale, and now we're up against two of the biggest cars in the series. So it was kind of like flipping it on its lid and going the total opposite direction. But you know, Fanga's car is incredibly fast. It's American-built FD competitive car, and it's insanely quick. So we had to make some slight adjustments and just make sure that we could stick with them, because you know, any little gap in this championship is basically handing them the win. So
Just on that note, with the first 2 rounds being concrete rounds and they're custom rounds, there's also no real opportunity to get heat into the tyres or even warm the car up. And they're just short run-ups, short standing start right into a concrete wall. I mean, how tough is that coming into the series?
Yeah, so the run-ups are a big thing on these concrete wall rounds, and it's more so the front tyres that we don't get the heat in. We can get a little bit of heat into the back tyres by scrubbing in the infield there, then coming out and lining up, but you just don't get any heat. You don't get to do a warm-up lap, and so you don't get the opportunity to really scrub the front tyres and get some heat in them. So that's the biggest thing you notice on the first pass of the first run, is when you come in, you can definitely feel the car isn't as settled. Like, there's a lot of rear grip, and when you've got so much rear grip and half the time the front inside wheel's lifting off the ground, so you've got one contact patch on one wheel, you can feel
quite a lot of three-wheeling in Wellington as well.
Yeah. So a lot of the cars are hooked up that much. They rely on a lot of squat in the rear and weight jacking in the front, which allows basically to put the weight in the front over the back wheels, which creates traction and drive. So that's the idea around all of that. The lifting wheels is not just to look cool; it's to try to offset weight, and it's very similar to a speedway style.
I hope you guys at home are taking notes, because he's just giving you some recipes here. You know, it sounds very technical.
Yeah, it is, and like it's taken us a long time to really research it. Like, I enjoy looking into a lot of those things, and that's the way the sport's going, and we've got to be there. We've got to be competitive, and those are it's gone to the days of just relying on a tyre to give you the traction and drive. So you've really got to set your car up around that as well, and use the whole package. You've got to have a good tyre, like good suspension, and a setup, and know what your car's doing, what rebound, what bump, what spring rates, and even sway bars. Like, for the first time ever of I think end of last year, I went to running sway bars in the car just to try to offset weight and use that to balance the car a bit more. And it's working really well now. The car feels best it's ever felt. We've done
clearly, because you took the round out. So
we've done tons of testing in the off season, and like, it's feeling amazing. People are commenting it looks so much faster, and it feels competitive. It feels like I can put it wherever I want it, be consistent. And it's feeling really good.
So target's on your back, unfortunately, mate, because you're leading the championship again. Your teammate Cole Armstrong, he's a bit further down there, but you guys are doing a lot of YouTube and a lot of sort of interactive social media, and they're really cool clips. So if you guys are just tuning in, Darren Kelly, Nissan R35, we're live on Facebook. Thanks to Oversteer TV.
Send in your questions.
The boys
will be answering them if we can't answer them for you here on the show as well. So awesome for them to come on and do that. So
as soon as Darren jumps off, he's going to be typing away. So round one, you won. Victory skids, obviously, that twin turbo wastegate with the flames out the bonnet.
Single turbo, twin wastegate.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Where am I at? Yeah, and twin wastegate, turbo smart, single turbo. RB, it's firing, and then we move on to round two. And how did that go for you? Where'd you qualify and battles? Give us a quick rundown.
Yeah, we had round two wasn't exactly what we wanted. We wanted to sort of go into round two and try to back up round one with a win and try to bank some of those crucial points and try to get a bit of a lead in the championship. It tends to be everyone always has a bad round, so you've got to try to claim all the points that you can, every opportunity that you get. So that was our aim going into the round, was to just go for it and get as many points as we get. We had the lead going into it. We want to try to maintain that throughout the season. And it didn't quite go our way. We're still leading the championships, like magically lost 7 points in the championship, which is nothing.
It was a complete upset.
So basically,
it was like everyone who you think would be up there.
Everyone that did well at round one.
To the people that were up there.
It was a huge flip, eh?
It was completely a flip, yeah. So basically everyone that done well at round one was in the same boat as me, had a shocker at round two. Right. Which was, as bad as it wasn't, it could have been much worse. So what happened for us was qualifying, same thing, didn't go quite my way. Still, I think we qualified ninth.
Was that because of the left foot braking, or?
Yeah, so basically we were suffering, everyone had the same thing. We suffered this pretty major sunstrike. So as you come back onto the bank at Wellington, right when you're switching through your own wall of smoke from coming around on the bank, the sun's basically reflecting off the smoke and shining a light that you just can't see through. So you've got big white concrete walls and you're looking into a big lit up white wall. So you can't see a thing. And as you're switching, you don't know if you're deep or you're shallow, or you just had no perception of where you're at. So what was affecting a lot of people, and you could see it very clearly throughout qualifying, was they're dropping too much speed and having to left foot brake to maintain the angle of the car and try to get back out on the wall. So that was basically what hurt a lot of people. It's sort of where I guess the scoring around it is probably what I less tend to agree with, because a lot of the time the run is very good up until the point where the left foot brake is used, and then it seems to be a very heavy deduction on. Yeah, it's probably not fair. Some people would see.
There you go, at home, guys. Throw that thumbs up if you think left foot braking should be chucked out the door.
Well, because on that note, the judging dynamic between rounds 1 and 2, there was a shift between. There was a discussion in pit lane, and we went. What we've seen coming into the season as well under the new rules is that 2 wheels off isn't a 0 anymore.
That's a big one.
You know, that's a huge one. Now you can put 2 wheels off and still be within the judged realm of completing a run. So I mean, that's changed the whole dynamic of how we view these runs. So that's changed everything. And then, like you say, I think maybe that is probably a heavy deduction for what you do to be able to make that car do what you do. I saw you're leading. Well, what I thought was going to be the top qualifying run. I remember it at Wellington. It was a superb run, despite the conditions, sunstrike, and everything else. But to make the car do what it does, you have to use a little bit of left foot to keep it settled. And I think that was just such a huge penalty for you. I think. Yeah. It's probably.
Did you just call out the judges?
Well,
well, I agree with it. Like, I think there should be. I don't disagree that there should be a slight deduction. If you can do it better without using the brake, then there should be room for improvement. I agree with that. Where I didn't quite agree with was how substantial the deduction is. So when you watch the full run, you see it looked like a really good run, and then you see 3 light taps of. One was probably a little bit heavy, then 2 light taps of the left foot brake to get the car wide again, sit on the wall, and then it was full throttle.
You don't think you did bad in other areas of the track? You're not biased towards yourself.
I think everyone's biased towards himself.
Towards the judges here,
No, but yeah, from both sides.
It is talk of the pit lane at the moment this season, though, isn't it? It's one of those things that everyone's going to have something opinion on. But also coming into round 2, the dynamic of that layout is also a bit different, isn't it? The approach angle to the wall is totally different to Bay Park, and no one seemed to be actually running that high line at Wellington.
Banger was very vocal about this.
So no one was running that high line for most of the day, and then as soon as the top 16 come in, we saw people like Dave Steedman push through. People were going right up into the wall and really laying it in there.
There was no.
It was almost like everyone cranked it up at 11 as soon as that main game came on.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I was saying about it. All comes down to the battles, and that's the point where everyone just puts it all on the line because they know this is where they've got to win or lose. Like drifting is a very brutal motorsport. There's no like, I made a mistake on that lap, I'll make it up on the next one. It's you make a mistake, you're on the trailer. You're going home. So
drag racing, go hard and go home.
Yeah. So you've got one opportunity, and you've got to do everything you can on that one run to not make any mistakes while pushing as hard as you possibly can. So but as you said, like once we came into battles, it was all on. Like everyone seemed to nail the line and be perfect on the wall.
Let's nail that right now. Battles, round 2. You buy top 16, was it?
Buy straight into top 16. Up against Andrew Redwood.
Yeah, the Kelly King. FCRX70. He's a pocket rocket on these custom tracks. And with insanely quick. And with the thing with the judges allowing you to now, something new that the judges actually allowed was to dive. Usually you have to follow them in and you can't dive in, right? And so they allowed you to dive in this round?
In certain areas. So you've got areas in the parts of the track where you have to stay wide. The lead car still determines your chase line, and you've got to mimic that as much as possible. You can't be shallow at every point. Obviously, that would make it easy to chase somebody right in their door. So there's still areas that you've got to stay extremely wide and follow their line, and then there's usually on a switch or somewhere that you can switch slightly early and dive straight up the inside of them and just try to gain that proximity back. The sacrifice to doing that is if you do it, you can go the opposite way and get it switched too early, and then they end up going wide and getting on the throttle and driving away from you, and you end up switching and blowing out the back of them.
And you've seen that so many times at both Wellington and Bay Park.
So that's the sacrifice, and that's the fine line of where you've got to get it perfect. And sometimes you get the opportunity where you can stay shallower for longer and then sort of come out wider with them. And that's the sort of area. So Wellington, for example, as you come off the bank, you switched and you're allowed to dive in at that point to gain back that proximity, and then also
you were
on
allowed
the switch
an early
onto the
dive
wall
as well, though. You were allowed an early switch in
Yeah.
driver's briefing as well.
Yeah, so that's basically where you're allowed to dive in and try to cut the track a little bit, gain that proximity.
What are
and
your
stay with it.
thoughts on that as a whole for coming into battles? I mean, last year we saw something that was just ruthless on line for the chase car, and you've got to be onto that rear quarter before moving up. Do you think that's too difficult with the dynamic of the cars that we have for that class, or can we see a sacrifice? I've always been quite vocal on it. Let's just sacrifice half a car width even in line for the chase car, just so they can get up a little bit more straight off the line and give us a door-to-door battle.
It's something fans want to see too, isn't it?
That's the thing. Like it's a fan sport, and people want to see cars door to door. And if we have to sacrifice a little bit of line to achieve that, I think that's a much better way to do it than say you have to maintain this proximity, but you can't shallow the line whatsoever, because then you're just going to end up with cars being 2 car lengths apart and not being able to close the gap. So I think it's good to have these zones where you can shallow your angle and try to get in there and close that proximity. But then it's good to have the other part of it where you can't do it in certain areas as well, because obviously you could make it extremely easy on yourself just doing a shallow line the whole section and maintaining proximity. So it's as long as you can get onto their door and stay there, that's still challenging. It's not easy. So just because you could shallow the track at one point to gain the proximity doesn't mean it's any easier to stay with them for the rest of the track.
I think, I watch the judges behind the scenes. They're in their hotel rooms. They're talking the week before, and they put a lot of thought into everything they're doing around where those points in the track are, and they've been here for a long time. So that's key.
It's a super tough job.
It's a very tough job.
They do get a lot of flack.
They get a lot of banter from you guys online. So it's a hard job.
But seriously, it's a really hard
good
job.
yarn.
When they dissect their runs and actually lay out what it is they're looking for, you can totally see where you've made errors or where as a team they need to improve, and I think there's a lot of that perhaps that people at home don't quite always see if you've just come into drifting. So
definitely
it is definitely a super hard job.
I think that the great thing here about the new graphics that we've got is you are now seeing what a judge is calling. So when they one more time, when they slide each way, and what we're noticing is that sometimes it's not unanimous. So it's not a unanimous call where the crowd may think it's the wrong full unanimous call. You're seeing 3 different answers.
Yeah, well, it's 3
which
individual
is great, because it's a fair answer rather than 3 unanimous where we were like, how did you score that? It's not like that. So
same with in qualifying, you see the different scores as well. You've got line, angle, and style.
Yeah.
And some drivers have better line than others. Some drivers have better angle than others, and that's maybe where people may not misjudge, or they might see a run in qualifying. Oh, that was a really good run, but they actually didn't have much style. They lacked an angle, but they were really good in line. Another driver comes through and they've smacked all 3. They've ticked all 3 boxes. That's why they're P1. And that's where the visual differences in the laps can't always be accurate with you just watching at home on the screen. It comes down to those finer points that the judges are looking for. They're always ticking those boxes and getting in those scores, what they actually want, and what they've laid out in driver's briefing as well.
Yeah,
right.
It's not a job I envy at all, and but I think they do a pretty good job a lot of the time. And something I find a lot is explaining to people exactly how drifting is scored. A lot of people don't understand the concept of it being a judge sport, and there is a lot of factors involved. A lot of people think whatever visually looks best is what's going to win, but it's not the case. It's usually down to, obviously you've got a predetermined line, you've got clipping points, you've got line, style, angle, proximity, and then and stopping waving. So there's a lot of factors involved, and I think they do a pretty good job dissecting the runs and trying to.
And it's good as a sport that we can sit here on the couch and actually talk about that stuff quite openly. It is quite something that we can dive into it. And if you've got your own opinion at home, tell us what you think. Let us know how you think the competition's shaping up. There might be some keyboard warriors.
Who's your call? Who's your call at home? Well, there's always keyboard warriors when it comes to a free live stream of any sort. And if you are just tuning in, we have Nissan back driver R35 Darren Kelly on the couch right now. This is a special drift chat. And we are live, so we've got some special announcements coming up very shortly. We've got Ben Jenkins from the Toyotaz Galore GT86 coming up. Darren, you took our round one. Unfortunately, Andrew Redwood, who went on to be second at round two, I think it was, no, third? Where did he place?
I think he got second against Ben Jenkins.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, you lost to him, unfortunately, but that was because of a mechanical. Yeah, so basically, it was Andrew, another person, fast car. You had to chase him hard. Had a pretty good run up until we switched. As we came off the bank, for some reason, I don't know if it started to develop on the bank, but we had a gearbox issue that basically it stripped 4 teeth off of third gear.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, but
it's not going to be cheap.
Nah, and like we've got guys like Casper Transmissions who look after us, and yeah, they've done an amazing job maintaining everything. It's just something that you can't prepare for everything, and unfortunately, this is something that took us out of competition. What happened was basically 4 teeth stripped off third gear. Shards of those gears went through the main bearing, which locked the whole gearbox, which locks the drive shaft, locks diff, locks your wheels, and that basically on the switch was like grabbing the handbrake and just made me fly off the track, basically.
But you're still leading the championship, which is, you know, for you and Nissan and the team is pretty epic. And so and that way we were really lucky that everyone else sort of had similar luck, I guess. And
were you just sitting on the sideline?
Well, yeah, I wasn't sitting around at all. We were pretty flat tap on Cole's car. It was he started developing issues with an alternator, and it was 2 teams of all hands on deck trying to get that thing, trying to keep it going. I think we swapped batteries out of that car 4 times in the between top 8 and top 4 battles, and unfortunately for him, it cost him in top 4. And we weren't able to run the battle.
It's not a way someone wants to finish, and it's not a way a driver wants to go through.
No.
On that note, guys, you know, we're live, so we've got right now highlights for round 2 coming up. We're getting the move on from the directors that we want to check that out. Darren, it's been pretty freaking rad having you on the couch and talking. Now, guys, if you want to check out Cole Armstrong and Darren Kelly and the team and what they've got going on behind the scenes, how do they do that? Because you've got a pretty epic little series going on.
Yeah, so we got this new series. It's called, we just got a name for it actually. It's called Drift Biology, and it's basically a behind-the-scenes look at all things to do with drifting. So not just the on-track stuff, but a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes in the pits and the garages, what we do in between rounds and the car prep, and everything. That's on my YouTube channel.
Rad.
Search Darren Kelly Drift, and there's a whole series.
You got a lot of positive feedback from everybody on that one too.
Yeah, everyone seems to be loving it, and yeah, we're getting so much positive feedback and comments and the viewership. So yeah, we're going to keep going with that, and hopefully, yeah, we can get some support to continue.
Now, if you guys don't know where to find Darren yet, we don't know where you've been. So check his Facebook pages out. Check that out. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut to the Thunderdome, brought to you by NZ Vapor. Quick shout out to Mike at Casper again for bringing round 1, but this one is all about the Thunderdome, Wellington. And check out these highlights, and we'll be back with you really shortly.
Straight out of Pro Sport last season, now entering the Pro category, of course, brought to us by Galore Parts Group. I think one of the things they're possibly looking at is a massive sunstrike. Ben Jenkins, he was actually one of the people that came up and said, sunstrike, big issue.
It is dangerous, as you said yourself, Steve. These guys have got 100, 200,000 dollar cars. We definitely don't want them riding those off, and we're certainly concerned about their safety as well.
Pink hat on, and I decided I quite
didn't start, and that is the reason why Jerry Zoo came back off.
It's about.
So Engel can.
Nice way to start. Let's see how far up Ben can get. He can't see. He cannot see. He cannot see. That is exact. So right there. I mean, I'm saying that one here. I'm all over, and we've got a massive fire at the back of that car there. So that's a nice line to start. Fanger Dan comes through. Let's see how his switches. Absolutely flying. In first place, driving the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5D by Castrol New Zealand and Century Batteries, 2 times New Zealand Drift King. Congratulations, 84 points. Fanger Dan Woolhouse.
But that sun that comes down and that smoke that we create coming through is super tricky. So it's down to a bit of timing. Close your eyes and hope and pray and hope you come out the other side. It's like Days of Thunder.
It's like Days of Thunder.
But let's get ready to set them loose. Fanger Dan, straight up to the wall. Massive angle from Banger. Danjirizu trying to run a shallow line to tuck in underneath of Banger. Big switch time and snappy as can be. Oh, it's a huge mistake for Darren Kelly. He won the last round at Tauranga, but Wilkinson, what a chase. It's the Mimiko 180SX. Adam Davies absolutely winding on the angle as he comes out of NZ Vapor Zone. As they fire it into the right-hander, Matty Hill closing the gap straight away on Liam Burke. Liam Burke dialing on the angle. Jaron Olive Kroner, Carl Thompson, big smoke show, and off we go. Down into the big sweeping right-hander, and here comes that angle we saw before, but here comes Cole Armstrong. Look at these two drivers, they are locked at the hip. Cole can't get any closer without hitting him. Wellington, you are certainly getting a show tonight. Oh, he's put a wheel off, he's backing it in and keeping the turbo smart. Big switch for both drivers, they're coming through up the yellow line. Wilkinson bringing them down. Here's our flames at the back again for Armstrong. Through the energy, back up through the big sweep.
So he's got alternator issues. He's had alternator issues. He's replaced the alternator.
See Darren Kelly down there. You can see they're doing everything they can. Is that the night over? Brucey's rubbing the bonnet. They're trying to...
There it is, guys. That is it for Cole Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, not able to bump start the car. Woo! Andrew Redwood, Angle King, right there with Ben Jenkins. Was that a little touch? They come up onto the turbo smart, switch on through, aggressive, synchronized drifting here on the clip. Oh,
Redwood takes the stage, heads on up, dialing in the angle. Here comes Ben Jenkins. Tip to start. Let's see what happens as they go through the first switch. Turbo smart kicks it in. One backs it in contact.
Oh! There's one, there's two, and first time ever winning a championship round in the Pro Championship of the D1NZ. Second place, Andrew Redwood, but the winner in the Toyotaz Galore GT86, Ben Jenkins. Boys, get up there. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
All right, guys, we're live on Facebook. It is the 2019 D1NZ Drifting Championship, a very special edition of Drift Chat. Thanks to Oversteer TV, we're here with Ben Jenkins, round 2 winner in Wellington. Mate, you were on fire.
Yeah, stoked. Absolutely stoked to have my first pro win and only my second season and my 6th event in my new car. So pretty happy to bring home the win down there around round 2.
How big was the change from SR to 2J?
It was a massive change for me. So coming from a car that's sort of like a butter knife and a sharp knife sort of fight, it was crazy. So jumping into this new thing, taking it down to Waimate and testing it down there, and then getting a lot more track time. Round 1, turning up and driving this thing, it's insane. It's so fast. The sequential, the winters, and even the adaptation. My team having to adapt to this car has been massive, but it's a big step forward for me. And my driving style is sort of suiting towards this more aggressive car, so it's hopefully going to pay off. But I think it's pretty good to have a round win so early on with this new car.
Yeah. Especially with new platforms. Obviously, over the years we've seen drivers take to new platforms. It can take a while.
It takes a season or two.
Yeah.
Not this guy. how does that find? You've got a very expensive GT86 with brand new 2J, and you go straight into Bay Park.
You build these things to drive them. As Darren Kelly would say, as all the other boys would say, you build them, you spend all the money on them to make them reliable, then why are you going to drive them half of their ability?
Car's meant to be driven.
Car's meant to be driven, so you drive it exactly to its limits, and that shows you in the results and shows in what you can do. So I drove my S13 pretty much to the end of what I could do in that car, I felt. So that's why I've upgraded and gone with this new chassis, thanks to Toyotaz Galore. It's been an amazing build, and I can't wait to get more seat time in it.
Now you're a very passionate driver. We've seen that so many times as you come through the ranks. You know, Pukekohe one year you had the door hit, and you were so passionate, and the rawness was there. But you have an amazing team behind you, and every time that a lot of teams here, guys, is you get hit or you scrape the walls, you come back out, and it's like a brand new car.
Exactly. We pride ourselves on the presentation. We've got a painter in my team, Alex, who is my head mechanic. He's been with me since day one. He's a painter. He keeps these things absolutely on form and pristine.
Losing him.
We're losing him. Yeah,
you shouldn't leave.
So Alex, my head mechanic, he's taking off to do something else, and that's right. He's going to fly. I'm going to have to spend some money and fly him back to the events, but that's fine. He's been there since day one, and he's been a big key to my success through my pro sport series of a couple of seasons, and massive key to my success now of what we're doing.
That's a big jump, isn't it? Coming from, we spoke to Darren earlier in the show about jumping from pro sport into pro. I mean, that's a big level, isn't it? 235 tyre to up to a 265 semi-slick, if that's what you want to run. I mean, there's a big gap there, isn't there? But the competition might be the same, but the level of car is totally different.
100%. Now, the competition to me isn't the same. I mean, leveling up from pro sport, it's massive. Luckily, I had the aids of already having my brother Troy and then my teammate Matty Hill already in pro. So on our practice days, we practiced together. I could use their old tyres and that sort of thing, get the hang for it. And you just sort of feel that level of setup of the vehicle of increasing. But it's a big step up, coming up to drive with people that I've looked up to driving. You know, we got Darren, we got Andrew Redwood, Fanger, the likes of them. We've got Carl Thompson and this amazing new machine that he's been using this year. It's a massive step up from pro sport into pro.
Let's talk about that team. Bay Park, round one, you know, you're in there, you're in this new chassis, and you've got Matty Hill there. And then we see this battle and everyone's amping for it. And you know it's you versus Matty Hill. You know, there's obviously a certain bromance going on because, you know, Matty, I know you're tuning in. Hit that fun like if you guys love Matty Hill because performance and that, they've invested a lot to come over to New Zealand. But as a teammate, obviously you trust him. So you know you can go 100%. And that when you win a Hyundai, it just turned into, what was it, one more time? Two one more time?
Two one more time.
So it was sudden death.
Yep.
How is that as a driver? You know, you're like...
It's massive. It's massive, but Matty and I have driven together so many times. We've done so many funny things. We've done so many events together, and we've driven in Japan quite a lot last year and the year before. And we can just trust each other. We're such a similar driver, and we as soon as we saw we're up against each other, you probably see in our round recap, we were so excited, and it was just, hey, let's just put on the best show we possibly can, and just don't stop.
Yeah.
Because if you stop, one of us is going to hit each other. And I said to him, I was like, dude, like, you can hit me if you want. I don't mind. Let's put on a show. And he said to me, and I said the same thing. He said, I'm trying to hit you.
Wow.
And I said to him, I was like, dude, I'm trying to hit you as well. But we were just both leveling up and driving real fast. And he got a bit surprised at how fast my car was. And then in the reruns, he just adjusted to it, which is fair play for him. And he took it up.
You are a bit of an animal behind the wheel. You know, there's a lot of drivers that build this new chassis and this flash car, and then they'll hold back for a season. But not little Ben Jenkins.
No way. I built this thing to drive it, and I've got a good crew, a solid crew of mates behind me that if I drove it below par, they'd tell me pretty fast. So
let's switch. Good. Round one, Matty, obviously, he went through and very prosperous, and you know, hello again to him, and cool. Now, if you guys are just tuning in, we've got Ben Jenkins, Team Jenkins Motorsport. You can like their page. They drive the Toyotaz Galore 2JZ GT86s. Now, you'll see this little thing on here. You guys recently crewed for Kengushi when he came over for Leadfoot Festival. We've got an announcement coming up around Pukekohe. Stay tuned for that. Tagging the people that you should think should be winning this announcement because it's something you want to win involving the car and new driver. Anyway, let's just jump it back. Round two. Dude, where'd the animal come from inside you? Like, what the?
Round two, look, we had unfinished business from round one. Coming against Matty, so good that he went through to come fourth, or third, sorry. So he came third in round one. Just, the car feels good. So from the get-go, we tested a little bit. We were a little bit reluctant to test when it was wet weather because we knew that it was going to be drying up. So we did a bit of testing in the wet, got the good feel of the wet. The first time I've ever driven in the car in the wet was there at round two. But no, just felt good from the get-go. That car off the trailer felt solid. Alex had it dialed, the whole team, everything. It was just working like clockwork, so it felt real good.
So how do you feel, like Darren mentioned earlier, and we'll give this a quick one, but how do you feel about your qualifying?
Qualifying felt pretty good to me. It was just a shame that sun came, and I really think that I could have put on a show, which I sort of did in my second qualifying run anyway, but it could have been a hell of a lot of a better position. So I think I qualified in 8th position, so that got me through to 16, but qualifying was real tough with that sun.
Round robin table, you got the bye, I'm pretty sure, and you faced, looking at this, Stuart Baker.
That's right.
Who's, you know, this smiley face, Stuart. You know, Link ECU S13 is backed by Link. They were involved in the series a long time, and obviously they're taking over the world. So Stuart Baker, a great personality of the sport.
100% Stu. And as we said when we were there, we've battled so many times through Pro Sport. We've battled 3 or 4 times in Pro Sport. We've battled twice or 3 times now in Pro. And when we battle, we just laugh at each other.
It's a reoccurring thing with drivers,
Yeah, we laugh at each other. We're always smashing our roofs and that sort of thing and pumping each other up. So he's a good little driver, Stewie. That's wicked. But it's just now that I've got rid of the SR and done the 2J, I've just found that little leg ahead of him this time. So I was glad to get the win over Stewie.
And then how was that daunting? I guess, was it a daunting feeling knowing that there's a Falcon S15 with an angry animal behind it up next?
Last year at Tauranga, round 2 last year, my SR, I took him to the wire and almost got him last year. So this year I wanted to make sure I could just set it in and beat him. You know, Carl's an amazing driver. He's one of the he's a hard charger, as I think we found last year, and to be able to verse that caliber of car and to drive, I just focused, and to me that felt like was my battle of the night.
Yeah.
And just put it with him. He drove with me as well, but I think I just surprised him with the pace of my car on the way home.
Yeah. And did you go for a coffee in the pit?
He's always offering me coffees, and he's got the setup. You know, he's got a wicked team behind him. Jamie, his dad, who he even broomed my trailer off when I got there on the Friday. So it's good. We've got a real good relationship with him. We see Carl a bit. He's got some really cool things in store this season.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, isn't it? There's a lot of I guess family involved. Jamie is Carl's dad, and he's on our digger, and
that's it.
You know, mucking in at Bay Park, and then he's there with an espresso machine and the bullets and everything around too, and it's cool. It's it's very we all help each other out, which is great to see.
Before we go further, the fire, we have to talk about the fire. I mean, that was in quali.
Yep.
That was pretty gnarly.
Second qualifying run. There's some in-car you could probably show them, which Isaac got. So coming home on that second run, I just got that sunstrike that a lot of the field got, and it was unsafe, as Darren said. It was just unsafe. It was a thick wall of white smoke, and if you came through there with your lovely car, although I said before you got to drive it to the limits, it's all about actually taking a leaf out of the safety book. So had to sort of shut the run down, but kept it on form, and the in-car, I just thought I'd put on a show. So went 3rd, 4th, and then just pulled 5th, which is top cog, and it just the wheel speed and the heat.
So lovely car. There's like this tipping point. Lovely car / I want to catch on fire and put on a show.
Yeah, but that's just what you had to do. Put on a show. A funny story actually. Before we went out to qualifying, I said to Troy, imagine if I pulled 5th gear on the way home on one of these runs, it's going to do the full Zach pole and it's going to catch fire. And he said to me, he's like, nah, don't do that.
Can you explain to the viewers at home, how does it catch fire?
Just the heat, the wheel speed. So the wheel speed of the tyre, the grip of the track. It's pretty much just it's
actually probably an indication of how much grip you guys are actually chasing.
Yeah, exactly.
People think drifting is just getting sideways. But there's quite a lot of lateral grip involved. Setting up the mechanical grip for the actual car, suspension, all that stuff. As Darren mentioned earlier. I mean it's such a competitive sport to be in if you want to be at that top level.
That's it. Yeah, there's a lot of heat coming from the car as well. You know, heat from the diff, heat from the exhaust. The exhaust goes quite close when it gets around there, so it just lit up.
So in other words, see a lot more fire. We're going to see a lot more fire, guys. So if you want it, Pukekohe, tickets are on sale now.
There's no fire button on the emoticon.
No, isn't there like actually, no, don't do a flamey emoji on the live stream because you're going to be booning us all, and it's not what we want. And someone at the live stream just keep doing it, just constantly. It was really annoying. All right, stay tuned. We're live here on the D1NZ Facebook page with Ben Jenkins, the 2JZ GT86 Toyotaz Galore. He took out round 2. So you smoked Carl. Nothing's Carl. You've done Stewie Baker and the smiley guy, which you kind of feel bad about. Stewie's the most happiest guy in the field. And then you move on, and you've got. So it's great. You've got 2 JZs, you've got rotaries, you've got RBs, and you smoke the rotary guy.
Don't smoke the rotary guy, but Adam Davies, like we went to Waimea together. The dude, we have such a good camaraderie between the 2 teams. Him and Dave, Troy and I, 2 similar teams. They're almost like brothers, which is cool. Adam is just a hell of a driver. That car is crazy. It's so fast, and it's got all the cool things, it's got the smoke, it's got the flames, and it's got the noise of the rotary, which I love the noise of the rotary. But no, it was good to battle him. I haven't battled Adam before in pro, which was great. His teammate Dave Steedman beat me last year down in Wellington, but I really wanted to get one back, so it was good to win that semi. And by then, this whole round was becoming, a bit of a dream in my head to beat Adam Davies and then try and make it on into the final. So that was good.
So as a driver, you're in this surreal moment. You've just beat someone who you've looked up to for many years, who's had multiple podiums in a rotary. Peacock, you guys got to check out the Peacock videos. Go on to Team DSR and check those out. Sorry, it just popped into my head. It's an amazing video. Actually, they just put out a video of the victory skids with you guys at round 2. Check that out on Team DSR because it's a pretty cool video. So you're in the surreal moment. What the hell's going through your head? You're coming into a final.
So much.
You're sitting on the start line.
But in saying that, I feel confident in this car, and I said to my spotter, Craig, who's come on this year, he knows my driving style, and he's also an up-and-coming driver on our team. And I said to Alex, Yellow S14. So we've got a good team of below us that you'll probably see them up in these ranks maybe in a couple of years' time. But I said to him, I feel confident, I feel good, and then when it sort of got to the other end, the end of the pointy end of the tree, that's when it sort of became holy, I could podium here. This is amazing for me. But I kept cool, calm, and spoke to Alex. Alex was with me, he buckles me in, and does all that sort of stuff. Puts all my hands on and all my comms and my 5-point. But I said to him, mate, we can take this all the way. And he looked at me and said, yeah, man, we can do this. So that sort of calmed me down, and we got set for the final.
And who? Sorry, with that game face on, I mean, like coming into a round like this, and then with the championship unfolding, was that in your mind, or you just focused on that?
Not really.
Focus on the round 8. Not
really. You're focused at the job at hand, and obviously now with being close in the championship, then that's sort of gonna be in your mind. But you've just got to switch off, and you've got a battle in front of you, and you're 0-0 with your competitor, whether or not you're coming last in the championship or first, and you just want to be that person that gets those 3 strikes to your name.
Andrew Redwood.
Another one.
Yeah, and you guys are quite close as Team Jenkins Motorsport, Andrew Redwood, Kat, Andrew. You guys all intermingle, you socialise outside of drifting. So you know that there's going to be no tactics. You know that he's going to put on a really good lead. When you have to have a really good chase, you've got to have a really good lead. So what happened?
Massive battle. Me and Andy saw each other. We were so stoked to be in the final together. He was happy as, I was happy as. Then we're right across the pits from each other, and we just said, dude, let's put on a show. And I think we did. From the get-go, I qualified higher, so I led first. This was the first battle that I actually led first. So I don't know. I sort of like chasing first. It sort of gives you the upper hand because you can put on your best chase and then try and run away in the lead. But I entered fast, and because I knew Rebel was going to be fast. He's going to be fast. He's going to have angle, and he's going to be fast.
Quite deceiving.
Yeah, he's just got a good setup. It's not that much power. Everyone thinks it's quite a lot of power, but it's not. It's just a good setup, and the dude can pedal. And I've been looking up to him for years. But as soon as I entered, I just looked, and your hands restricted you a little bit, and I could see his front wheel coming from my door. And I knew at that point, it was going to be all on. So I just put on the best lead run I could to allow him to give it that great chase. And his proximity was amazing. We switched together, came round, and I felt like I hit every clip, and it felt like a really good lead run to allow him to chase. And on the way home, I flicked my water sprayers on, and I have a quick chat to my spotter, and I said to Greg, you just tell me, I don't need to know anything else. Do I need to go all out? Because I knew he was on my tail. And Craig just said, go all out, dude. So that's what it was in the chase.
And tell us about that, because then obviously there was the wasn't there contact? I really spun.
Heavy.
Contact. So many battles to digest.
Yeah.
Yes. Redwood, from memory, Redwood pushed out on a slightly different line.
Yes.
Bit
the
deeper.
TTI clipping point coming towards
came through a bit deeper, and you went in hard, but it just translated into him spinning out, or what could have been deemed him spinning out, but then he kept going, and you spun out. So how did that go down for you?
So we entered together. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew it was going to be fast, and he was going to throw a lot of angle on, and I had to be there. So I flicked him with him. I nudged him just perfectly on the side skirt, broke his side skirt. Sorry, Redwood. But it was perfect. Good proximity. He kept going. He didn't do any dumb tactics there, and it didn't really upset him. So it was great. We kept together on the hill, and then as we came through the mid switch, we were both so fast at. I think he just pushed a little bit wide, had to scrub a lot of speed with his angle. So, and I came through there on the handbrake, on the foot brake, and just made some, you can't really see in the footage, but it was a bit of heavy contact. So it broke some parts of his car, did some damage into my sill and my door, but hey, that's racing, we'll fix it. We'll fix it after. Let's see what happens, So
obviously the judges swayed in favour of you, and if you re-watch that battle too, it could be deemed that, you know, Ben's coming in and actually gave Redwood a nudge and fixed his error, so to speak.
The thing is, when we were there, we're like, it took so long. This camera angle and then this camera angle, and it's kind of like in the rugby, you know, you see the video referee and they watch it once, but in drifting they were watching it like five, slow mo, fast mo. Yeah. But that's because they're trying to make the right call for you guys, and you know, at the end of the day, we feel that call was right. You know, everyone watched it and it was probably just a bit slow. Andrew obviously, you know, came up to you and he felt it too, because everybody was happy, and then what happens after that is, you know, you get to stand on the podium for your first time, dude.
Massive.
Yeah.
So stoked. I mean, like, it became a reality actually after Darren and Cole Armstrong walked out, and I didn't know what was going on. I'd hit him. I finished the lap. He finished the lap as well. And then just sitting there waiting for the judges, and I could see they were doing the replays and just going back and forth to see who was at fault. And then Darren was live streaming, and Cole came out and they grabbed me and they said, "Dude, like, you've probably just won that." And that's when I was on the comms to my team asking what they thought, and they couldn't see because it happened so fast. I felt he went a bit slow, but I also felt that it could have been my fault as well. But obviously the judges deemed it that he went a bit wide and did that, and then that was it. That was the moment that I sort of realised that, holy, I'm going to take home a pro win here.
And coming away with that though now, and looking back on it, like, okay, coming into Hampton Downs, the chase, it's almost like a hometown event for you with Hampton and Pukekohe. So, I mean, you looking forward to it?
Can't wait. The car's getting prepped as we speak, fixing all the parts next to Brian Roberts, who have been straight on the job fixing the little damage in the sill from that and everything like that. So I can't wait. Hampton Downs is a track that we've all driven. I think all of us have driven that so well, and everyone's driven it. So practice will sort of be, I reckon, firing straight into battle practice and getting comfortable with the proximity. But I can't wait to hit Pukekohe after that.
And being able to set the car up for something a lot faster, right? I mean, the speeds are going to go up at Hampton, and they're going to be hitting some of the world's fastest speeds going into Pukekohe at round 4 as well. So
that's it.
Now we're out of the concrete, we're out of the concrete jungles, and now we're getting onto those faster racetracks. And I think the New Zealand racing circuits have sort of made D1NZ a little bit, given it that sort of name across the world, because some of our tracks are really fast, and the amount of horsepower out on track and the driving style as well, the battles that come through on our types of circuits, a little bit different to what you see in Europe and Asia and other parts of the world. So I think obviously people tune in and watch that kind of stuff. And I mean, you're looking forward to actually just getting fourth gear entry and
yeah, pretty much like Darren and I talking before. Now that we can see we're coming onto the tracks, we get that track grip and the rubber that's already down. It's going to be a massive big change into even the tossing up of the qualifying. But I know Darren's car is insanely fast down at Hampton, and so are a couple of other boys. Carl Thompson's done so many laps of Hampton. He's probably there now, actually. I think Carl's probably there now, setting his pit up for round 3.
He's always the earliest.
And doing a lap.
Machine going down.
He's probably set up for Pukekohe already, I reckon. But no, it's going to be good. So these tracks, the cars are built, obviously, we test them on tracks. We can't really test them in these concrete places, but these cars are fast. And I've tested my car at Hampton a few times, and I've driven a few other tracks with the tarmac, and my car feels pretty fast. But we'll see how it goes against the likes of Darren's amazing R35.
Do you realise that you've actually also just put a target on your back? So you're now, you know, people tuning in at home, they're hearing who Ben Jenkins is. You know, they're Team Jenkins Motorsport. You're putting these cars on the calendar, which is pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
If you were take yourself back 3 years ago, and there's a lot of people watching and tuning in, which you should be liking this button right now, because we're about to give you guys an opportunity to win some pretty epic stuff coming up. But what would you say to the 3 years ago you? You know, if I was like, oh my God, I've got my little SR and my S15 or my S14, and that's just, and you look at it and you go, that's totally unachievable. But it's not, is it?
No, it's not. But in saying that, looking back at that, when I was doing my pro sport years and saying, damn, I need a bigger motor, I need a bigger gearbox, I need to be able to keep up with these people. But look what it's done for me, driving that car and driving it to its absolute limit of knowing that car, to jumping straight into this new thing with a sequential, you know, almost like supercar style.
So don't go too big too soon.
No, don't go too big too soon. So, and to be honest, if you jump back in a car like that, into another car, and it's not a competition related, you have so much more fun because the thing will just be reliable, you know, and it'll run. You don't have to worry about paying so much money and using so much money to get these big pro cars to run how they are. But myself, my first year of Pro Sport was a Wally. The first round I ever did a Pro Sport, didn't even qualify. Thought the car was a lemon. Gave it to Fanger Dan in Pro, and he came 4th.
Wasn't it Manfield?
Manfield. I didn't even qualify, and I thought it was a lemon, and he came and borrowed it.
Didn't he hit Sky?
Hit Sky's out.
Sky's out. Hello, Team D-Spec.
I think Drew hit him. I think Drew hit him as well.
Yeah.
And then I came home from my first round, and everyone was going, "What's all these marks on your door?" But it was just Fanger hitting everyone else. And then I went from that, so not qualifying at round 1, to then that same year I ended up winning Pukekohe. So that was cool.
Bit of a dent in the door that round too, wasn't it?
No, that was the next year.
Right,
that was the next year.
I
love Pukekohe.
Just before we head into our giveaway, I suppose, I don't know what we're running on time, but with that, coming out of round 2, did you think that this time, this is only like your second year in the Pro Championship, did you think that you'd have a win like this and head into round 3 with a little bit of a competitive edge in the championship? So
that's it. 3rd by 2 points behind Big Adam Davies, and behind Darren, who's leading the championship, which is massive. And I'm ahead of a lot of the dudes that I sort of looked up to. But I know it's sort of a dream, keeping real humble and just focusing on the task at hand. The task at hand now is obviously our Triple Crown for Pukekohe, which is massive for me because I love Pukekohe.
The Cooper Tyres Triple Crown.
Massive.
So for people that don't know that, there's actually a little championship running within the championship. So round 1, rounds 2 and rounds 4, Pukekohe. It's a Triple Crown, so you can actually win that championship. So we drop Hampton Downs, and the people that do well in that can win. So it's a little championship within a championship, right?
Yep, that's it. So the Triple Crown's a big focus for me because I love Pukekohe. I've had 2 wins in Pro Sport. Last year in my SR, I was 2nd fastest, I think, at Pukekohe with that little thing. So I can't wait to wind this new thing up. You watch, let's see what we can do on this new thing here at Pukekohe. But no, there's a task at hand. Hampton Downs, we need to keep consistent in the points and stay in that overall championship race, which is massive for me in my 2nd year of Pro and massive for my whole team. It's so cool to be up here with these big names. But trying to make a name for myself, but at the same time, just staying humble and keeping focused on that task at hand.
Well, Brendan, we've got some giveaways, perhaps, or we've got an announcement, actually.
We do have an announcement, but before that, we're going to kick. I've got the director sort of kick to the Hamptons promo because that is what's next, guys. So first off, big thank you to Team Jenkins Motorsport. The guy that was on fire at round 2. Big thanks to NZ for bringing that one to us, and all the Wellingtonians that come out for round 2. So that was that, and now we move on to the chase, which is round 3, Hamptons Downs, and we're going to check out a little clip on that. But Ben, thank you. It's cool to actually get you on camera first time, so you've done well. We hope that we've done it justice. And this guy's the one that's the mark on the back for Hampton Downs. So let's check out a little promo on that now on what's coming up.
2 + 2 is 4. -1, there's 3 quick maths. Actually, 3 + 3 + 3 + 3, what does that equal? Boom! Hey everyone, I'm Darren of Corona. I drive V12 Pastoral New Zealand S14. I'm here at my home track at Manfield Circuit, Chris Amon. Round 3 is at Hampton Park. I cannot wait for it to take place. The sun is going to be absolutely shining. We're going to have these cars blazing. See you there, round 3, Hamptons.
Second pass from Olive Cronin, laying down a fantastic drive, leading out Cole Armstrong.
And that's right, it's Darren Olive Cronin.
Hey Ben, Darren's thinking about a V12?
We got 6 and 2 cars.
Exactly.
That's all we need.
Yeah, 2 badass cars from that.
Come for you, Darren.
Hey guys, Troy Jenkins here from Team Jenkins Motorsport, and I drive the Toyotaz Galore GT86 01.
And I'm Ben Jenkins from Team Jenkins Motorsport, and I'm the driver of GT86 02.
So this year it's out with the black and yellow,
And it's in with the orange and black.
Luckily enough, I've already had some time in my first GT86 already. Managed 2 rounds of D1NZ last year, but now it's time for...
I'm here at Hampton and I'm testing my new car. It's a whole new animal and I cannot wait to drive this at round 3 Hampton.
So come and check it out, round 3, Hampton Downs.
On the 16th and 17th of March.
D1NZ Round 3, The Chase, Hampton Downs Motorsport Park, 16th to 17th of March 2019. Tickets on sale from January 20.
Time to take it to the big boys.
Alright, welcome back guys. D1NZ live on Facebook. Drift Chat, a very special episode thanks to Oversteer TV, and we're talking about the D1NZ Championship season 2019. Round 3 coming up at Hampton Downs, but round 4, Pukekohe Park Raceway, one of the fastest drifting circuits in the world. We've got a very special driver announcement.
We do, Kenny, and you know, if you're a fan, you can tune into round 3 online, or you can come down to Hampton Downs. That's the first of the open tracks, so it's quite a cool one to come along to and just see how those cars really react outside the concrete walls. And as we heard earlier from Darren and Ben, that they're really looking forward to that. But of course, we switch it to round 4, and it's Pukekohe Park Raceway. It's the home of drift, brought to you by DKM Fabrication. Now, that really is for us the one that separates those newcomers, the boys, from the men, because you're like 100, 180, 200 k's an hour flying down that front straight, and if you're in the grandstands, you feel your body rumble as they come past you. Then they pitch it sideways. It's no other motorsport in the world does that. So we've also gone to the next level, and we've had guys like Daigo Saito, Ryan Turek, Bo Yates, Michael Prosnick drive the Galore Parts Group GT86. And they were with one driver that really has always wanted to come back to D1NZ. And he's a lovely guy. He's the most likable guy, and one of the most likable guys. Sorry, Australians, because, you know, we don't play favourites, but that is.
He's also another driver that's caught fire before as well.
Literally, he was like, what was it, Talladega Nights? No, Ricky Bobby?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to roll this clip and you'll see who's coming for Pukekohe Park Raceway.
What's up all you crazy Kiwis? It's Jake Driscoll Jones here, and I'm coming back to D1NZ. That's right. It was 8, maybe 9 years ago since I piloted the Somvia over there, but this time I've partnered with Galore Parts Group, and I'm going to be driving the 2JZ GT86. I can't freaking wait. I'm going to be at Pukekohe Park driving that 200k an hour first corner, and it's going to be absolutely insane. You guys can actually win the ride of your life right next to me. All you need to do is purchase a VIP ticket on D1NZ.com and you're in the charts. I can't wait to see all my crazy Kiwi fans. This is going to be insane. Massive thanks to Galore Parts Group, DKM Fabrication, NZ Vapor, and obviously D1NZ for bringing me back. Alright guys, see you there. March 30th, 31st. You won't want to miss this.
Alright guys, well there you have it. Jake Jones out of Australia, the Drift Squid, is coming back to D1NZ. It's been a few years since we've seen him here on New Zealand soil, but it's going to be good to see him back competing in New Zealand amongst the D1 field. And I'm a little bit heartbroken because it's not the RB. It's not the RB. But he's going to be absolutely thrashing that 2JZ powered Galore Parts GT86. And yeah, he definitely loves how we do things here in New Zealand. So it's going to be cool to see him mixing it up.
Yeah, guys, hit the like button right now and tag in your friends, because what we're giving away is this signed at Leadfoot. Ken Gucci came over, and hi to Ken, because we know that he's going to be tuning into this. Ken Gucci signed GT86 shirt. So that's up for grabs. Not only that, you're going to have a ride with Jake Jones at 200 k's an hour. Now, I've been down Pukekohe Park Raceway at 200k with Mr. Magmite with Dad. And when you're going down there, you sideways and you pitch. He's actually looking past you through the corner. So you're the passenger around the corner. It's very unique at 200 k's an hour. It's actually exhilarating. So you can win a ride with Jake Jones, but we're going to chuck an extra one on top of that. Championship leader Darren Kelly and the Nissan R35 is also going to give away a hot lap. So you can go with Jake or Darren, and your partner, your missus, can go with either Darren or Jake as well. So you're going to be massive brownie points, or she's going to want to get out of the car. One of the two. So all you've got to do is get online, buy your tickets now. VIP gets you in that draw. The shirt, the hot laps, VIP tickets. It's all there. But it is so cool to see Jake Jones back. Yes, no, we're not going to have the RB BMW. And it is a cool one. But so, Jake, welcome back to D1NZ Pukekohe. We're chucking you in the deep end.
Yeah, Puke. And like for anyone going for a hot lap at Puke, if you ever get the opportunity to do it, it is amazing. Pro tip, keep your visor down and bring some goggles, because it is ridiculously fast, and you don't want to miss the vision when you hit turn 1, because it is a totally different reality. if you're a bit of a triple like me. But it's such a cool ride, and honestly, it's something really cool. It is honestly.
I didn't want to go for a hot lap with anyone after that for like 4 years because Mikey took me for that hot lap, and we're going back a long time ago. So it was enough. So, you know, if there's a money can't buy a lifetime experience you're ever going to do, it'll be to go 200 k's an hour and then chuck yourself against a wall inside a drift car. So that is what's up for grabs, ladies and gentlemen. It has been great catching up with Ben Jenkins and the round 2 winner from NZ Vapor round 2.
Yeah, it's awesome to have these guys come in and have a chat like this. And we want to do more of this. Obviously, we're going to try and do more of this, but we don't know when or how. But if you want to see more, please give us the thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts. You don't often get an opportunity to sit down with a driver and actually have an in-depth chat like that. So, yeah, it's awesome, and we'd love to have more drivers in, and we'd like to do more of this. But it all relies on, you know, how many people tune in as well, and we hope that you share it out. Share it out. If you want to see more of it, react, and make sure you get your questions in, and we'll do our best to answer them as well. So.
Yep, so make sure you tag in your friends. Get on to d1nz.com/tickets right now. The link will be tagged in this. Thank you so much to Darren Kelly and Ben Jenkins sitting right now answering all your questions that you've been asking of them. Try to keep it, once we go off live, we'll tune it off there. Check out their Facebook pages, and they're awesome, unique behind the scenes. They're 2 guys that are ambassadoring the sport, and they're constantly updating. You can check out d1nz.com for all the info about Pukekohe Park Raceway and Hampton Downs coming up. DKM's bringing you, I should say, the Pukekohe round. So it's coming, guys. Book your tickets right now. Win that package with Jake Jones and Darren Kelly. And thanks for tuning in. That's the big one.
Thanks for tuning in. And do tune into our live streams. They're live on Facebook, live and free, thanks to Black Lion Tyres this season. So please tune into the live stream. And if you've missed the live streams from the previous rounds, you can tune into Oversteer TV on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Check us out on Instagram and all of that jazz. Check us out on Facebook, and you'll see the highlights packages there. We'll shorten them down for our international viewers, so you can sit down, crack open a cold one, and watch the latest round of the drifting and all the other extra bits and pieces as well. So big shout out to CSE Speedshow TV for letting us use their set. It's awesome to be here. And Brendan, we're looking forward to that next round.
All right, guys, as Kenny said, d1nz.com/tickets. Book it now for Pukekohe Park Raceway. That is the big one. That's the one we need you at to support New Zealand drifting. On behalf of myself, Brendan White, and
Kenny from Oversteer TV,
we will see you trackside. And we say, drive safe, and as Sean Summerfield would say, bye for now.
Hey, Carl Thompson here. I've always had the attitude not to follow the pack, which is why I've built some of the baddest drift cars around. In 2018, I had the raddest championship debut, and I managed to take out most improved driver. My season highlight for last year's championship was definitely round 5, Bang a Dan, top 16 battle going into sudden death and coming out with the win.
17 years, 15 D1NZ championships. For a small population, D1NZ is recognised all around the globe. Pukekohe Raceway has always been the grand finale for D1NZ for 15 plus years. So this year we're moving it to a warmer month so the drivers can push the boundaries and get that higher top speed. Although you will find that Pukekohe will be the grand final for the Triple Crown Championship. See Carl and my RTR Mustang and 70 other plus pro drivers attacked one of the world's fastest drifting corners at round 4 D1NZ.
Pukekohe Park Raceway. Not only are you going to see Carl Thompson and Bang a Dan go to war on this very corner, you're going to see 70 of New Zealand's best and the angriest war machines in the Southern Hemisphere do battle. Now fans, it's up to you this year. 20% of the total ticket sale will be going to the drivers. All you've got to do is follow a driver throughout the season, choose them when you buy your tickets online or at the gate, and that will go directly to their championship campaign from iTicket. How cool is that? For the first time ever, any series in New Zealand, we're giving back to the drivers. It's up to you guys to get your bums on these seats, come see these crazy war machines, and feel it, live it, and feel the rumble down the Pukekohe front straight. Joe?
It's the rivalry, Pukekohe Park Raceway. This is the one not to miss. This is where I'm sitting up in race control, wondering who's going to take it off that wall at 200 k's an hour. It's the world's fastest drifting corner. You've got New Zealand's best drivers battling it out door to door for bragging rights. Tickets on sale January 27th.